Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hart, and today I'll be breaking down the 5-game NBA slates we have here on DraftKings for Tuesday night. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Hart. I do daily slate breakdowns for the NBA and NFL, where I talk through my favorite spin-up plays, mid-range options, and some value plays for this slate. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the slate breakdown. As always, make sure to follow me on Twitter at HartDFS. I put up my free Patreon you can find in the link tree in the YouTube description link down below, as well as on my Twitter profile. I'll answer any questions you guys have, talk through my favorite plays. For today, I just did the core plays, but usually, as you can see here, I just go over a recap of the day before, the games, totals, and the spreads, injury news, slate thoughts, pay-ups, voting blocks, value plays, all that good stuff is in my free Patreon link down below. So make sure to follow me there on Twitter. Here's a look at my lineup for tonight. I just did one with all the injury news and how DFS has been so chaotic the past 2 nights. I wanted to just do one lineup, be safe with it. I should hopefully be able to cash. It's looking like I will be able to stay in cash with Luka, Trent Forrest, Aaron Holiday. I don't think Brandon Clark's still getting run. Maybe I'm wrong, but that game is, a blowout. So hopefully Aaron Holiday and Luka carry me to stay in cash for tonight. So that should hopefully be nice there. And then, let's get into the slate breakdown. 5-gamer, so this should be a pretty quick breakdown. I'm assuming there's going to be a ton of news tomorrow. There has been a ton of news recently in terms of DFS affecting the slates the past 2 nights. So we'll have to wait for it tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be just absolute chaos. But starting with this first game, we have Sacramento versus Philadelphia. For Sacramento, obviously not the best matchup guarding Embiid and Harden here. So Sabonis, just more of a contrarian play there at 9,400. We've seen he does have some upside, but without Fox, they haven't been doing the best in terms of the past 2 games. 2 blowouts, past 2. Sabonis did great in that Cleveland one, but then, did solid 20, 12, and 4. 7 to 10 shooting. You can't really complain about that in 39 minutes, but 41.5 for a guy who's 9.3K, not the best, but there's that blowout risk if Fox doesn't play again. If Fox does play, don't mind taking a shot on him here at 8,300. Looks like a decent price tag for him. I'd still prefer getting to one of the guys in the 5K range if you're going to get someone from the side. Most likely being Herter. He's going to play the minutes. It just comes down to if he's hitting the shots. If he is, he should see close to mid-30s fantasy point wise. Otherwise, he's going to get you about like 20. That's kind of his range. Either it's like 22 fantasy points or it's 36, 35. He had to do a little bit more ball handling in the past 2 games because there was no Fox, so it does lower his floor a little bit with Fox back if he is back. Barnes is just kind of there in the mid-range. You can get to him if you want, but don't feel great about it. Malik Monk has been the worst player I've ever seen the past 2 games. I mean, this game versus the Knicks, he was super low owned, and of course, when everyone fades him, I play him. That's what you're supposed to do, right? 3 of 15, literally 3 of 15. Still got 20 fantasy points, but 3 of 15 really. Two games in a row, he screwed me there. I think Keegan Murray would be my favorite play. The minutes have been solid the past few games, 27, 30, 35. He should shoot it a decent amount when he's out there. So not going to do a ton of peripheral stats, but I think he's the best price point play on the Kings side besides Fox if he's back. For the Philadelphia side, we have Embiid. We know with Philadelphia, the offense runs through Embiid and Harden. Embiid's been fantastic. 20 for 32 versus Charlotte, 53, 12, and 20, or 53, 12, and 3, excuse me. I think I said before, or during last slates, that I was like, don't be surprised if Embiid puts up 50 and 30 on Charlotte. And he put up 53 and 12. So he's been fantastic. Another great matchup here versus Sabonis. Price point, don't love it. I'd rather get to Harden here at 9,700, whose price has come up a good amount. The past 2 games he's been great. So it's really just one of those 2 guys. Otherwise, everyone else is just more secondary plays. Don't really see a need or interest to get to anyone else on this team. Moving on to Golden State and Milwaukee, should be a great game to watch. We know the offense is going to go through Steph, and Clay. Clay's been doing a lot better recently. If you want to buy into that, minutes 37, 37, 36, 36. He's shooting it 20 plus times. So, it looks like Clay's a little bit too cheap here at 6,800, but we know he does have a pretty low floor. Poole, he's a tournament option. He's been getting the minutes recently without Andrew Wiggins because he's been starting alongside Steph and Clay. Looks like he's going to shoot the ball a good amount as well. So I think he'd probably be my favorite play at that price point. Draymond Green's always worth a play just because in a tournament setting, he does have the ability to get you close to a triple-double. He's usually not going to carry a ton of ownership. Couldn't get you into the 40s if he's doing very well. Primetime matchup, maybe he steps up. But yeah, I mean, it's really just the top three guys for me. That's really it on this Warriors side. Andrew Wiggins is still out. Looney, you can go to him. They'll need him in guarding. Brook Lopez, he's done well the past 2 games, so he should see about mid-20s minutes. Kuminga should see about 15 to 20 off the bench. I guess he's an okay value play. Game did blow out versus Boston, so he did get a few extra minutes of run. DiVincenzo should see about 15-ish minutes off the bench. He's a decent point per minute guy. It's a little hard to trust at 4,000, but you can definitely do it. And that's really it for Golden State. On to Milwaukee. We have Giannis 11-9. If you can get up to him, looks fantastic here in this matchup. Hasn't been great recently. 16, 28, 35, 34, and 40, obviously great, but the past 2 games, not the best from Giannis. Dallas, they got blown out. Or not blown out, excuse me. They were just not doing well. And then versus Houston, a smash spot for Giannis. He just didn't do well either. So they're not doing the best in terms of him, kind of leading the team the past 2 games. But, I mean, we know it's Giannis. So do truly expect him to step it up here and have like a 40-point game versus Golden State. Jrue Holiday has been doing great recently, as you can see from his box score, 8,000. The minutes are there, shot attempts are there. Maybe he sees a little bit less shot attempts with Chris Middleton, who should be good to go for this game Tuesday. Of course, I play him 6 minutes, hurts his ankle, out the rest of the game. Also had him on Prize Picks, so that's fun. Yeah, Chris Middleton, really, really like him there. It's 6,000. That's way too cheap. He should see at least 30 minutes. Maybe we'll get a minutes limit because of that ankle. Who knows? I doubt it because he is going to play. So he looks great there. I think Brook Lopez, slightly too cheap. Not the best matchup here. Maybe Golden State decides to go small. That could hurt Brook Lopez. So just keep that in mind. Bobby Portis, I mentioned how I really liked him. He's way too cheap there versus Houston. Put up a 40 bomb. He's got that range within, he's not going to play 30 minutes, maybe close to it. But yeah, at 5,600, he's way too cheap there. So I really like him and Chris Middleton. Grayson Allen is there, should see about 30-ish minutes. He's okay. Pat Connaughton, going to be the best value play, for this Bucks side here at 3,400. So I think Pat Connaughton, Middleton, and Bobby Portis are going to be my favorite plays for Milwaukee. Moving on to Phoenix. We got the news Devin Booker is out, so that means Ayton, Paul, and Bridges are going to carry the offensive load. Really like Bridges there at that price tag. Played 43 minutes, or 45, versus the Pelicans. Shot it 23 times. He's going to be the guy to kind of target to step up with Booker out. You can go to Chris Paul as well. He's pretty cheap here, 6,200. He saw 34 minutes, back-to-back games, which you do like to see. There's times where even with Booker out, Chris Paul is going to go out there and maybe shoot 8 times. So we've seen that before. So be warned. Even though he's very cheap, he has a huge ceiling if he's aggressive and getting the assists. It's just there's times where he'll go out there and not really shoot in the best spot. So keep that in mind. But yeah, he looks great there. Same thing with Ayton. All 3 look fantastic. So it's just kind of up to who you guys want to go to. Cam Johnson is questionable. Maybe he's back. If he is, I expect a minutes limit, so I don't have a lot of interest in him. Payne, he should see about mid-20s off the bench. You can go to him at 5,200. Not the best, with those kind of main guys still there, even though Booker's out. Lee should see about 20-ish minutes off the bench. Not sure why he saw 34. Maybe he starts alongside Chris Paul. We'll have to wait and see for that. But yeah, I think you can kind of expect mid-20s out of Damian Lee, so 3,500, that looks like a decent value play. I know Saric started that last game, played 21 minutes, was not good at all, so we'll kind of have to see who they slot in for Devin Booker there. But yeah, good amount of interest on Phoenix. For Houston, I think these guys are a little bit too cheap here as well. KPJ, Jalen Green, and Sengun. I prefer going to, Sengun at the price tag And then maybe a guy like Jabari Smith, who's been shooting the three decent until that last game, still got you 28.5 fantasy points. So 5.3K, not terrible to get to Jabari Smith Jr. there at that price tag. The rest of the team, if you want to go to these value guys and like Eason, Gordon, Martin, you can, but really just prefer getting to the starters for Houston. Moving on to the Pelicans. We have Zion 9,500. There, he's been great, but I just don't like paying that price tag for Zion. It does kind of feel a little bit limited when you're paying that much for him, even though he's been fantastic. I like going to CJ, 45 minutes, third shot at 13 of 24, finally shot it well, 49 fantasy points, 29 points. I mean, he has a very, very low floor, especially if he's not hitting his shots, but it seems like he's finally gotten out of the streak once again, the bad shooting slump. So really like him here at 6,900. That's a little bit too cheap there. J-Val's price has fallen all the way down to 5,600. He makes for a good tournament option here. His ownership should be down. The minutes are just a huge question mark when it comes to J-Val. If he sees close to 30, he looks great. But it's one of those things, he can go out there and see 14, saw 18 in that last game. So just a huge, huge question mark. Very, very risky there. Troy Murphy, he's just kind of there, okay play. Don't mind it. Herb Jones, if he's back, does eat into a little bit of Troy Murphy's minutes because Herb Jones most likely will start. Larry Nance, prices come up to 4,400 because the past two games he's been fantastic. And that's kind of what we're talking about. When J-Val gets limited, Larry Nance is going to be the main beneficiary there. So 45 fantasy points, 42 back-to-back games. Now it's one of those, you can't really trust that they're going to go out there and play Larry Nance, 25 plus minutes and he's going to be that productive, but he does have that ability. And obviously 4 steals the past 2 games really helped, but it's just one of those things. You can definitely go to him because of that risk with J-Val. Alvarado, don't think you need to do that. He's been good in a few games recently, but just more of a dart throw. And yeah, that's really it. Daniels has seen a decent amount of minutes. If you want to go over there as a value play, I would rather get to Anaji, who's been pretty solid as a value play off the bench here with Brandon Ingram still out. So I think, I'd look to Najee off the bench. Otherwise, it's going to be a CJ if you want to get super risky, J-Val. And then if you want a solid pay up option, it'd be Zion. For Utah, we have Laurie at the top, 7.9K. Looks like he's good to go, should be back. Don't love the price tag, but, he's been solid this year. Same thing I could say with Clarkson. Don't love the price tag in either one of them. They should play most of the game, but it's just, I don't know. I just don't like the price tag for some reason. But if you guys do, you can go to them. Olenek, price tag is a little bit better there. Minutes have come down a little bit the past few games. So he just looks okay. Beasley, 5,700 with Laurie back. You can go there. It's just not a ton of interest really in this side with kind of everyone back besides Sexton. So kind of takes, these fringe guys out, with Sexton with Mike Conley back. Everyone's going to be back besides Sexton. So not a ton I really, really like. Rudy Gay is back. He's seen 15 minutes the past 3 games. So if you want to go to him for value at 3,200, you can. He's a solid point per minute guy. Usually a good shooter. Obviously coming back from injury, he hasn't been doing the best, but he's worth a mention. And that's really it. Yeah, it's just, kind of, if you want to get to a piece, I'd say go to a Clarkson or a Laurie, but at their price points, they don't look the best. For Boston, the last game of the night, we got Boston versus the Lakers. Should be a great game to watch. Tatum, 11K. He just hasn't been great the past 2 games. The minutes are there, usage, everything's there. It's just he hasn't been shooting the ball well. So if you want to buy low on him, you can. Don't mind it. Jaylen Brown priced at 9,200. If you're going to pay up for one of them, even though Jaylen Brown's been better, I still think I'd rather get to Tatum just because of the safer floor. Marcus Smart, don't mind going to him right here now. The minutes have been great. Usage in terms of shot attempts have been pretty solid the past few games. He's usually good at getting steals and blocks. So 5,900 in this matchup, don't mind him. If he can get you mid-30s fantasy points for 5,900, I think that looks great. Al Horford looks like he's coming back Friday, so he's going to be out once again. That means Blake Griffin should start along and play defense against Anthony Davis. That's going to be super interesting. Brogdon looks good in a tournament setting. Robert Williams, may be back. We'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, Derek White, you can take a shot on him in tournament setting. Grant Williams should see the start, play about 30-ish minutes. Don't mind him. He's been bad recently, but 4,200, you could definitely get to him. He does have some upside if he's hitting his threes. I mentioned Blake Griffin should see the start, should see at least 20 minutes trying to guard Anthony Davis. Not sure who they're going to put on him with how well he's been doing recently. But yeah, it's pretty much just Tatum for me as one of the spend-ups. Smart as a tournament play, contrarian play there. Brogdon is a decent tournament option at 4,800. And then if you want to get to a risky value option, White or Williams. With me, I kind of prefer getting to White over them, but they're both there. And then on the Lakers side, we have Anthony Davis, 11.1K. I mean, we've seen what he's done the past 2 weeks. Even with LeBron back, he's put up 70, 54, 85. So amazing spot here against Blake Griffin. If you can afford Anthony Davis, I do think it's a great time to play him tomorrow. LeBron, 9,800. He's upside playing along Anthony Davis, so I don't mind getting to him either. You could play both of them together. And yeah, I mean, Russ, tournament option there off the bench. Really don't see the need to get to anyone else. They're just more secondary dart throw plays. But yeah, really just the top three for me on the Lakers side, and that is it. We'll add one more player to the kind of the first look at the cores for tomorrow. They'll probably change, but these are the guys I'm kind of honing in on for tomorrow as of right now. So who else are we going to throw in here? I think I'm going to go to Ayton. So right now, these are the guys I'm liking best for tomorrow. Middleton, Ayton, Portis, and Bridges. Stay tuned for my free Patreon write-up. I'll get more in depth and break down my actual core plays with all the news that we get tomorrow. So make sure to check that out. Hit the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.